Tonight on Connecticut's news station, thousands of people across the state are still reeling from yesterday's flooding, and tonight we're taking you to the hardest hit areas.
Plus, state leaders skipping the DNC to assess the state of emergency here at home, the help that they're calling for tonight. Cleanup continues tonight after deadly catastrophic flooding across the state. A state of emergency declared as lawmakers assess the damage.
Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, starts with a weather impact alert.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Yes, so much to clean up. Such wild video. Unprecedented flooding hitting western Connecticut. And tonight we're getting our first look at roads that were turned into lakes. Plus hearing about dozens of rescues from inside stranded cars to even a restaurant with diners trapped inside.
We have team coverage from the communities hit the hardest. But first, let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank as we could feel the impact of even more storms tonight. Rachel.
This is exactly what you do not want to see after getting all of that historic flooding is more thunderstorms. I will say I'm not expecting a repeat performance of yesterday, but there could still be some poor drainage issues. We're still talking about locally heavy rain and lightning in some of these storms that end up firing up. And I want to start with the strongest storm in the state right now, Ashford, Eastford. Get ready. It is heading towards you. We're talking about the potential for gusts up to about 30 miles an hour. With that storm in particular, that heavy rain continuing back through Andover, Glastonbury, Rocky Hill. If you're in Marlborough, you can expect some showers to be moving in here shortly. And we've got some heavier downpours that are about to move back into Avon and Simsbury too. And of course, we're watching Monroe. We're watching Oxford and Seymour, areas that were really hard hit yesterday. And it looks like we do have another few showers that are coming through. The good news is they are moving, and a lot of those extremely high river levels yesterday have come all the way down to where they typically are this time of year. And we'll see this off and on through 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. And noticing, I think it's probably closer to 8 that we get this out of here. I think this computer model is a little bit slower than it should be, but we'll see these scattered thunderstorms, and we have that weather impact alert through 9 p.m. just to be safe. Some isolated poor drainage flooding, but not the flooding that you saw yesterday. And make sure you have a way of getting alerts just in case, out of an overabundance of caution. Cold front coming through tonight, bringing those storms will wash the humidity away. We've got cooler temperatures in store for tonight and a refreshing Tuesday. We're going to talk more about the beautiful stretch of weather ahead without rain, and we're also going to look at how much rain fell over a short period of time. Your full forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, Rachel, thank you. And in the hardest hit community of Southbury, trees are down, power is out, businesses are closed, and residents are stranded.
Fox 61's Matt Karen spent the day talking with people who were still in shock over the last 24 hours. Matt, what are you seeing?
Oh, behind me is Georges Hill Road in Southbury, at least what's left of it after torrential rain. It completely washed out this road, washed out bridges, took down large trees, and left some residents stranded. Generations to build.
Once in a lifetime flood, I think, happened down here in Southbury.
Hours to destroy.
Wash the entire roadway away up there.
Now the cleanup. Daybreak shedding light on devastation.
You would start hearing the trees fall one by one. And when it finally receded, we came out and saw the damage.
More worried about their neighbors.
We were lucky by magnitude of what happened to everybody else.
Than themselves.
People are completely trapped.
Marie McColgan's basement is a swimming pool. Her sump pump failed. Now her electrical box is underwater. Her oil tank is floating. But it's her neighbors who had their bridge wash away. They're stranded.
I don't know how the crews are going to get here to help those people.
Just down the road, Tom Santella showed us the new path Kettletown Brook cut through his backyard. It's where his neighbor's bridge and an SUV came to rest. A mother and her baby narrowly escaping death as the raging water carried the car half a mile downstream.
We opened up the shelter overnight.
In response to the destruction, the Red Cross established a shelter at the senior center. 50 people stayed there, including Phil Testa.
They ended up having to take all of us out by boat.
Just hours earlier,
Oh, I got enough stories. I don't want more.
rescued by emergency personnel on a boat from the camping area of Kettletown State Park.
A couple of people were actually literally on their way out of the park and watched the bridge fall down like 20 feet in front of their car. And luckily, nobody was on it. But from that point, we were isolated on an island because that's the only way in and out of the park.
Southbury, under a state of emergency, vowing to rebuild brick by brick.
Hopefully we'll be able to assess a lot of the damage and prioritize how we're going to go after it.
The first selectman told me Governor Lamont called him personally and gave him a direct line of communication for anything that he may need during this recovery effort. First selectman is making a list. He's going to give the governor a call back in the coming days. Reporting in Southbury, Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Boy, thank you, Matt. Unbelievable video there. Another of the hardest hit areas, the Naugatuck Valley, and specifically Oxford, where two women identified as Ethelyn Joyner and Audrey Rostkowski were found dead after being swept away from their vehicles. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc joining us now live along Route 67 near Old State Road with the very latest on this. Julia.
Hi, good evening to you, Brent. Yeah, this is the main route that runs all through the town of Oxford. 67 alongside it, Little River, not living up to its name during yesterday's storm, swelling up to unbearable levels, causing widespread damage to bridges and roads just like this one, leaving two women dead and lots of cleanup on the horizon.
This is horrible. You know, I never seen destruction like this around here ever.
Naugatuck Valley neighbors combing over the devastation left behind by Sunday's storm. As the cleanup, especially along Route 67 in Oxford, continues.
Oxford got sucker punched yesterday and then taken out at the knees.
All afternoon and night, Oxford first responders made countless rescues, like here at the Brookside Inn, where people were trapped, and along the water by Lake Zor.
We rescued 30-plus people from Jackson Cove, which is our beach for Lake Zor, and they were there for a birthday party for a 2-year-old child.
In that scenario, everyone got out safely, but for two other women, now identified as Ethelyn Joyner and Audrey Rostkowski, that wasn't the case. Police confirming they were both swept away by floodwaters in separate incidents on Sunday.
This is a tragic and devastating day for Oxford. Our prayers and thoughts go out to the families of these two women.
As Oxford picks up the pieces, so do nearby neighbors in Seymour.
You see the backside of that building there, you'll understand why we have no power.
Seymour's fire chief taking U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal through the damage, ending in the destruction of more than a dozen local businesses in Claritas Village Plaza.
How about structurally? Does it sound structurally? Building inspector is currently working on that. So he put a no entry on them all for now until he can go through each one and inspect them.
With no flood insurance, the business owners are trying to plan their next step.
Because who would have thought the Little River would turn into a gushing torrent of destruction, which is what happened.
Now back out here live, there are still lots of main roads and side roads just like this one that are completely impassable and are therefore closed. A message from first responders that is message: if you see any cones or barriers just like this one, do not try to walk or drive through this area, because as we have learned in the past 24 hours, even though this street is standing now, that could change at any moment. We're live in Oxford tonight. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Yeah, good warning there tonight. Thank you, Julia. Well, also in Oxford, firefighters rescued several people trapped inside the Brookside Inn restaurant. Take a look. Beacon House Company #1 sent us this dramatic video. You can see one of the firefighters slowly making his way along the ladder, guiding one patron to safety. 18 people and one dog were pulled to safety here. Thankfully, everyone's okay tonight. Governor Ned Lamont officially declaring a state of emergency in response to all the severe flooding we saw.
Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolforst spoke with the governor when he arrived in Oxford.
Well, Governor Ned Lamont is supposed to be in Chicago right now for the first day of the Democratic National Convention, but instead he's back in state in Connecticut, landing here in Oxford this afternoon and coming to Oxford Town Hall to give an update on a state emergency response to this historic flooding. Severe rainfall Sunday afternoon causing extensive structural damage to roadways, homes, and businesses.
We have been and continue to work around the clock to make sure that resources are deployed.
Sunday evening, the Connecticut Emergency Operations Center activated enhanced monitoring mode and will remain that way until at least tomorrow. The state working directly with municipal officials in impacted areas to coordinate resources.
I love the regional assistance. I love the other towns coming in and providing what additional support they can.
And Monday afternoon, Lamont officially declaring a state of emergency, setting in motion what he says is an important process so Connecticut can get federal money.
Make sure we get to the front of the line. Make sure that front of the line means we get every resource we can.
We got to present evidence. You can't just say, give us the money. We have begun documenting. Our delegation is going to be laser focused. We're going to be on this quest full time right away.
Senator, FEMA has said that it's already run out of disaster relief funding for this year, for the second year in a row. So where is this money
They're going to find more.
Come from?
The nature of emergency relief and disaster aid is you find it.
But just how much money and how long it could take to get to those who need it is still unknown.
I can't tell you this will never happen again. I can tell you we're going to make sure that we make it less frequent and make sure it's less severe. And that's something we're working on every day. There's no word yet on when or even if the governor will travel back to Chicago for the rest of the DNC. The convention runs there through Thursday. For now, reporting in Oxford, Emma Wolforst, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Well, all the dramatic rescues we've seen tonight really show us how important weather alerts are. The Fox 61 weather team's constantly monitoring your weather impact. Download the free Fox 61 News app where we deliver the latest forecast and weather alerts right to your phone.